Hello everyone, this is Kai Unity Kai and ManicProfessor. I'm going to bring you a podcast tonight on the topic of nihilism. Now, I will make a quick mention that Mr. ManicProfessor's audio, he's having a couple of connectivity mishaps with Signal, which essentially means that I'll be reading his messages. So that is how we are going to conduct this podcast. So with that said, this topic again is on nihilism. And I have some notes pulled up on the screen here, but I'll go ahead and make the mention that nihilism in essence, without getting too much into it, we'll do that in a moment, but it's essentially nothingness and the perception of nothingness. And not just that, but also that nothing matters, that there are no ethics or there are no morals, right or wrong, and there are no ethical applications to apply those morals. Essentially, nothing matters, nothing at all. Everything is temporal, nothing matters at all. And so that's a little bit of an intro. Manic? So we have a few points to touch on tonight as well. And again, what I'm going to do is just read off Manic's responses. And Manic mentions that this is a pessimist dream topic. That it is indeed. Very much so. That's also a very good topic in and of itself. Between pessimism and optimism, seeing the glass half full versus, half full versus half empty. Nothing matters, you're alone and you're gonna die. And to put it quite simply, that is honestly the truth of things. As much as we like to convince ourselves otherwise. But we distract ourselves. We distract ourselves by our goals in life, by our efforts, by our beliefs, by our values. And that is what life is. But when you look at life through the lens of various ethical lenses, such as nature ethics, nature does not care. I always like to draw the analogy of a tree growing. A tree doesn't grow the right or wrong way, it just grows. Nature is not concerned with what humans do. Nature just is, it just lives. It's always in the present moment. Manic mentions, you can tie nihilism into other related topics like chaos theory, entropy, and anarchy. And indeed, that is very correct. Entropy, essentially, is the expansion of things. The expansion of things until we reach a cooling to the point of, if we look at this from a astrophysics point of view or perspective, there's a lot of theories of like the big bounce or the big crunch. Essentially, everything expands until there is no more expansion, there is no more energy, and everything cools down to absolute zero. Anarchy is the omission of political rules and regulations. Every man for himself, to put it plainly. Although, with that said, there are some alliances within anarchy. Chaos theory. Why don't you expound on that one a little bit, Manic, on chaos theory? And I'll integrate your discussion on it. And then I have a couple of things as well I'm going to touch on, but I think I'm speeding through it like a Sonic the Hedgehog. I need to kind of slow my roll because we've essentially got 55 minutes remaining. So we've got plenty of time to cover everything. Myself, anyway. I feel like I'm speeding through things here. But again, we're going to kind of just roll off one another here, Manic and myself. I will be reading his responses as noted. While Manic's typing, I will go ahead and mention my first point, which is the extension of oneself into an intangible engagement, such as simulations. So essentially, when you're sitting there and you're playing video games or you're watching a movie, look at what you're doing. You're sitting in front of a screen interacting with 3D simulations, which are not real. So in reality, if you were to look at it from a third-party observation, it's somebody sitting in front of an inanimate object, which is a screen, interacting with inanimate electronic simulations. But you extend yourself into that, just as though our clothing, it's an extension of ourself, or our vehicle. Have you ever spoke to your car? You know, it's an extension of yourself. Manic mentions it's kind of similar to entropy in that everything breaks down after a certain time. Chaos and disorder are the natural order of things. That is indeed correct. Sure. So, there could not be order without chaos, essentially. Chaos is a prerequisite to order. Would you say that's also correct, Manic? Order comes from chaos. And while Manic's typing, I'll touch on the second point here. If anybody is familiar with the movie The Matrix, or the series The Matrix, in The Matrix Reloaded, Neo is in the chateau, where there's the Merovingian. And Neo stops a sword. And the Merovingian and the enemies kind of look like puzzled, like, you know, what's going on here? And a little bit of blood drips out of Neo's hand. And the Merovingian says, see, he's just a man. But anyway, the blood from that sword injury is Neo's doubts. He's not truly in belief that he has control over everything. And that is the reason for the blood coming from his hand. And so Manic adds, so when you look at humanity's attempt to maintain a society, it's inevitably going to be tested when put against the natural chaos. A lot of societies straight up don't exist anymore for that reason. Humans are beautifully flawed in that we want order and structure, but we have such destructive tendencies. Indeed. And I think that destruction and how that integrates with the human mind and the human psyche is almost inevitable. In fact, if we integrate a biblical point of view, which is where it would come in useful for Nicro's point on that, he is a practicing Christian, so it'd be a good point for him to make. But the fall of man itself, evil and destruction are built in to the society. We kill animals to eat them. And unfortunately, we also kill each other. We have wars. Our words themselves. So I will also say, with that, there is no right or wrong. There's only the way in which energy is used. And I know that that might be very, very controversial. Kai Unity Kai, how could you say that there is no wrong with what Hitler did? How could you say that isn't wrong? Well, if you divorce yourself from the ethical applications and look at it from a third-party observation, look at it empirically, look at it objectively. That is one way in which the energy is used. It's used in a negative way. So there is no right or wrong. There's the way in which your energy uses. And again, back to my analogy, which I like to draw on. A tree, it can grow correctly, healthily, or it can grow with tumors. Plants also get tumors and disease, and they die. But no matter which way it turns out, it is not right or wrong. It just is. It just is. Manic also mentions it's built in. Did I already read that? No, I didn't. I think I was looking at the second paragraph. It's built into the very fabric of life itself. It's not just a human thing, but humans are the only creatures to try and become civilized on a global scale. On a global scale, I would say that is indeed correct. However, if we look at insect populations, for instance, those also become civilized, like a beehive. A beehive has a very elaborate structure. It has roles. It has a hierarchy. It has worker bees. It has a queen. They each have their role. They each have their function and purpose. If we look at ant colonies, very much the same way. But are they on a global scale? Well, they are. But they're segmented. They're segmented. Of creatures grouping together, says Manic. Ant colonies, hives, even wolf packs, and flocks of birds. There we go. Seems that we very much have a very similar mindset, I would say, Manic. We kind of touch on a lot of the same things, I feel like. Maybe a little bit in different ways, but very similar. Okay, and so another thing here is ethical theory differences in nature ethics, and that is kind of tied into my analogy about the tree. Let's see here. So some of these topics that I have are kind of related to, I would say, more in and of themselves, their own topics, like conditions that set out the law of physics, probability of reality coming into existence, consciousness, determinism, again, that's kind of its own topic. So if nothing matters and everything is temporal, meaning temporary, then under hedonism, which is a form of philosophy, which is just about pleasure, life is merely offsetting pain for pleasure. Now, that does not mean that you're constantly pursuing euphoria. Doesn't mean that you're constantly trying to, eat something that's very, very tasty, or have a nice drink that's pleasurable because it has sugar in it, or even to smoke some marijuana, or have a drink of beer. Those are all pleasurable activities. Sex, that's also a pleasurable activity that is euphoric. But what I mean by offsetting pain for pleasure, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're seeking out those things that give you pleasure in terms of sex or drugs, or even a tasty hamburger or a Coca-Cola. It means that you're trying to avoid pain, and pleasure in this sense just means you're feeling okay. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're high. Flipping cars, stealing art, killing that hobo on the corner, shit like that. Wait, what? That's ManicProfessor's comment there. Yeah. Yes. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you are attempting to seek out pleasure primarily. It could just happen to be a, what do you call it? Not an outcome, which it is. I guess a side effect? A side effect, maybe? A side effect of eating a meal is the meal tastes good. That's pleasure. Doesn't have to be a very... when people think of pleasure, they think of a really, really, pleasure, drugs, sex, that type of thing. Doesn't necessarily mean that. But essentially, that is what life is. It's offsetting pain for pleasure. We distract ourselves with our worldviews, with our beliefs, with what we think is correct, because it gives us hope. We're afraid. We're afraid of what happens when we die. We don't know. We think we know. So we get into religion. We get into philosophy. We get into metaphysics because it gives us some type of solace, some sense of consolation to make us feel okay. And then we just distract ourselves with whatever it is that we pursue, whether that's entertainment in the form of video games or television, or whether that's recreational activities like going to the gym or playing a sports game or street racing or whatever it may be. And Manic is typing here. So I'll read his message in just a moment. I feel bad for Manic because he's having to type, and I'm sure that's not probably the most comfortable to be typing through a podcast. Manic, you can try talking as well if you, whenever you feel you might want to, and I'll let you know how how it sounds here. So Manic says a side effect of society is that it's forcing people with a hedonistic lifestyle to give up time and effort to come work and keep that society up while dreaming of that ever elusive vacation. I think that's a very good way to frame it. And I think that I would say probably majority of humans are hedonistic. They don't want to work, they just want pleasure. I mean, who the hell wants to work? But then again, there are some people that find relief in their work because they're altruistic. You certainly am. I would say to a degree I am as well, but also altruistic. I like to help other people. That's a lot of the reason for the degree I'm pursuing. And the type of holistic health that I want to pursue. I want to help others feel okay with themselves and how they fit in, who they are. I want to help them figure out who they are, why they're here. But that's altruism. But it's not fully altruism, because altruism means that you completely only concern yourself with others and not yourself. Even to the point of you not taking care of yourself. That's pure altruism, which I'm not purely altruistic. But I would say that we can also tie that into the millennial generation. There's been a lot of videos on TikTok, Manic, which I don't know if you've seen, but a lot of people complain about work. A lot of millennials, not millennials, we're millennials, you and I. We're barely within that millennial group. But Gen Z, it's Gen Z. They go on TikTok and they cry. Have you seen the one with the with Starbucks, or there was another one with this girl? Like, they're crying about working. I don't want to work. I can't do it. I'm also happy to contribute as well, but as an introvert, I also value alone time and need to spend time alone. Manic, I am extremely aligned with introversion. I am very, very introverted. So much so that I get a lot of anxiety when I'm out and about. I mean, you wouldn't know it if you saw me out and about. You would have no idea. You would have no idea. Because I handle myself well. But in my mind, I'm very, very stressed and anxious. Especially if that's a very large group of people. But I'm a very much introverted person myself. I'm a homebody, as they call it. Homebody. You know what I mean? With that said, though, I would like to be more extroverted. I'd like to engage in recreational activities, go hiking, which I do enjoy, or go out and do some social activities, very, very difficult for me. Okay, and so Manic says, oh man, so my best friend's nephew just turned 17. Well, happy birthday to that, your best friend's nephew. And started working at my friend's job, and he was bitching and moaning after his third day. Ah, man. Yeah, so this relates to the TikTok. And he was complaining about doing literally exactly the same job I do myself at my own place. I was like, you're doomed if you're tapping out because of that. Yes. And so that's what I say is a lot of these TikTok videos with Generation Z, they're almost terrified to work. And I have to admit, when I think about it myself, it's like, dude, you have like at least another 30 years of work. And you have to do it. It's either that or homelessness. So that's another thing. You either work yourself to death, or you don't, and you become homeless. So which one do you want? Do you want to be homeless? Or do you want to work yourself to death and have what you need? That's your choice. Manic also says he's a homebody himself. but I do make more of a concentrated effort into going out and spending time outside of that comfort zone. See, that's good. And I need to do that myself. I really need to work on that as well, man. Because it's very unhealthy to be extremely introverted all the time. Which you can't really change the introversion, but you can work to, like you said, make more of an effort to go out and socialize. That's healthy. It's very, very healthy. Something I need to work on. I feel like we've kind of stormed through almost an entire podcast in about 20 minutes. Manic says, that's why I value my relatively rural area. Lots of farmland and people who don't necessarily need to rely on the system. And then he adds trademark. But work on their land and do things themselves. See, that's what I like as well. An agricultural, what is it? Not an agriculturalist, but a agrarian, I believe is what it is. Working the land, living off the land. If society ever goes belly up, those are the people you want to be around, right? Because they grow their own food. They likely have solar panels, so they don't have to rely on the power infrastructure. They probably have wells, so they don't need to rely on water utilities. Thank God for rednecks from Zombieland is the quote that Manic mentioned. I don't know if I remember that quote, but I know that movie. That's a pretty good one. I think there was a second one as well. That's a pretty good movie. What is it? Bill Murray and what's his name from the TV sitcom? I forget the TV sitcom. Cheers or something like that, I think it was called. With, what's the guy's name? I forget his name. He's in quite a few movies. Forget what his name is, though. Yeah, it's a good movie. And then the, Woody Harrelson, there we go. Yeah, from Cheers. And then there's the Facebook guy. The guy that was in the... Yeah, the Mark Zuckerberg. Yeah, is that his name? Zuckerberg is Facebook, but the guy who played him. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Can't remember his name. I think you were being funny there, though, and just saying it was straight up Mark Zuckerberg. Yeah, yeah, okay. Jesse Eisenberg, there we go. He was in another one as well, where he was a pizza driver. I don't know if you've seen that one. And he had like a bomb put on his chest. That was a pretty good one too. He's a pretty good actor. But yes, you don't remember that one? I can't remember the name of it either. But he was a pizza driver. Let me see if I can look it up real quick. Pizza driver Jesse Eisenberg. But he was driving a... Oh man, it's a good movie. 30 minutes or less, Manic. So yes, for the audience, have you seen 30 Minutes or Less? It's a very funny movie. But yes, how do we relate this to nihilism? Well, you don't think you watched that one? Oh, man. Well, yeah, well, it tells you right there from the director of Zombieland. You'll have to check it out. Maybe you can find it. It's pretty good, man. I think you would probably like it. If you like Jesse Eisenberg and that other guy holding his thumb up, He was also in Pineapple Express. That guy's funny too. And then the guy behind him, the Indian guy, he's also very funny. And Nick Swardson, they're all funny, man. It's a good movie. Very funny. But essentially, he's a pizza driver. And, well, I won't spoil it for you, but it's very funny. The zombie apocalypse for a minute? Okay, sure. Let's do it. Do you mind if I take just a second to use the restroom? I'll go ahead and type your response, but I'm going to use the restroom real quick. I'm going to put it on a be right back screen. So I'm going to read, but go ahead and type, Manic, and I'll read it as soon as I get back. I have to use the restroom very quickly. Alrighty, we are back. Appreciate you hanging out there. Had to use the restroom very quick. Okay, so with that said, Mr. Manic here gave a little bit of a narrative on the zombie apocalypse. So, Manic says, I never was big on zombie stuff, but I did write a short story about what if zombies happened at my high school. And it was something I worked on during study hall senior year. After graduation, it later got turned into a screenplay. Oh, that's cool. That of course never got made because that's when pop culture went from zombies to superheroes. And it sits on a flash drive. Anyways, while writing that, I couldn't stop thinking about the what ifs. Obviously, zombies as a concept could never work. But we got a glimpse of that during the pandemic years. And just how quickly something like that could shift the world in the span of just a few hours. A day. Tops. Well, I'd have to say that that is indeed correct. And you're also right about the superhero focus, which is still a focus, still to this day. Almost every other movie is about superheroes, it seems. But zombies and the connection between COVID-19, there's definitely a observation there to be made, because COVID-19 itself is a virus, and when people get infected with COVID-19, when they contract COVID-19, they don't become the living undead, but they are infected, and they can infect other people just by being in the same vicinity, by breathing in their, what is it? Not their exhaust. They're not a car. But breathing in their breath with that virus, the COVID-19, hitching a ride. Manic also says, I'd wager the superhero craze will die down in the next few years. It's entirely too oversaturated, and people will just move on to the next big thing, like wrestling. I think that that's probably true. Indeed. How long can you be... how long can you hold the attention of the public with a certain thing, right? Just like companies, how long can they put out the same flavor before they need to start variations in their flavoring and whatnot? And while I'm thinking about it, because I glanced at it on my notes here, and then Manic, I'll read your point there. But our ego, who we are, our ideas, our values, and our beliefs aren't our own, but they are repeated throughout history. But where is the origin? That's something we'll explore on another podcast, but essentially our ego, who we think that we are, is shaped by ideas and beliefs that aren't our own. Even our interests, what we like. I mean, we might have a unique opinion on it, or maybe a unique experience, you know? The Last of Us, says Manic, does a good job showing what such a reality would be like with a deadly super contagious disease. Fungal spores are as a source for infection is pretty plausible too. I think so as well, and I forget the name of the species of that fungus. I used to have it at the top of my head, but those fungal spores are actually in insects. They infect ants, and the ants will climb up a piece of straw or up a tree, and they'll die, and the fungus will grow out of their body and release the spores, going to continue the process. But could that be based in reality? Could it be transferred to humans? I mean, maybe. If there's a certain mutation. I mean, there are many diseases through zoonosis, I believe it is referred to as. Essentially what that means is the transfer of diseases from animals to humans. And that's through history well known. One that comes to mind very, very quickly is mad cow disease. Eating diseased meat. Rabies, that's another one. If an infected animal bites you, you can get rabies. And it's a horrible death. Semantic says egos are overrated, especially if you play guitar, singer, or a career politician. Yes. So egos, that's Sigmund Freud. That's something. See, these are all amazing topics. I think that it's really neat because when we explore a certain podcast, we run into all these other ideas that it's almost endless of the ideas we can come up with. So Manic says, funny you bring up mad cow disease. In my own zombie apocalypse story, the first infection came from contaminated lunch meat in the cafeteria. There you go. Yep. Mutated mad cow disease, essentially. So, yes. With that said, I do think that The Last of Us is quite plausible. I think that I agree with you there. I always thought the same thing, Manic. I really honestly always thought the same thing. It is very quite plausible for a pathogen like that to make the jump from an ant to a human. You know, fortunately, it has not. But The Last of Us does such an amazing job of portraying what if it did. What if it did? We got about 23 and a half minutes left, Manic. Man, we've covered quite a bit, haven't we? Quite a bit in this topic here. I'll have to share that idea about the way to boost your signal too. I was doing some research, trying to figure out how I might, because I want to help you figure it out. You know what I mean? Not just for the podcast, because that's just a hobby, but it is a hobby. I mean, I know we're passionate about it, but to help you get a better signal there. So Manic mentions precisely. I need to get back into those games. Gosh, still 20 minutes left. I still need to ice my fingers after this. Yeah. We really burned through it, haven't we? I think during the first 10 or 20 minutes, it might go a little bit slow. But then after that, once we kind of really get into the gist of things, it kind of speeds by, I feel like, doesn't it? It does for me. But yeah, we got about 22 minutes remaining. Then I've got my Xbox 360 hooked up, so I'm going to do a little bit of gameplay there after the podcast. And as I noted prior, up above in this thread, I'm going to split the videos. And I'll probably do that, well, I will do it on Saturday. So it'll take a little bit of time to do that. But, because it takes like an hour and 20 minutes to split the videos. So it's like, I don't want to be sitting here waiting for the videos to be split. Does that make sense? So that's why I'll just do it on Saturday. Because then I can just leave the video to split. But, yeah. And so Manic also says, this is something that I wish I could actually talk about in depth. But I spent a considerable amount of time here lately writing and recording the new albums. Oh, yes. So that's also something to mention here. So, for those who do not know, Mr. ManicProfessor is a recording artist. Now, he is a recording artist under his own label, which means he isn't signed to a recording group, an official label. But Mr. Manic has been doing music for how long now, Manic? 15 years, 16 years, something like that. And, anyways, he does very interesting music. I would say that it's very, it's popular culture type music, but it's also alternative. It's also a little bit of academia in there. But very interesting. He also does skits, which are quite funny. One of them in particular, I remember laughing out loud about it. It was about that guy where you ended up telling me it was a fake story or whatever. Well, you were like looking in the window and, but anyways, so Manic does music and skits. Okay, so he's says he can do the... Make sure I'm getting all your writing here. Okay, so he has 3 new albums in varying stages of progress. Master Plan is part 3 of the Manny trilogy, Manny's Life Stories, and a mystery 3rd album that he can't talk about quite yet. Chucklehead Productions is his label name. And so for the math, for the duration of time here, so the piano, that's very interesting. I didn't know you did the piano. But the piano since 1997, the drums since 2005, the bass guitar since 2007, and the guitar itself since 2008. You're talking about Butt Montana? I think I might be. I don't know for sure. It was the one where you told me that it was a joke. And I remember telling you, I was like, oh, I thought that was real. But I think the Butt Montana, the skit, I think that might be the one. Yeah, that was funny. I laughed out loud on that one, so. That's the one, okay. But anyhow, in terms of speaking a little bit here about Manic's work, what we were going to try to do is integrate some of his... We've done it before, but we'd like to integrate some of his music into, like, the intermissions. So... And maybe even as a feature, you know? Like, we can center a podcast around a specific topic that relates to Manic's... that particular theme of the music, so... Sir Axeman, may the 4th be with you. May the 4th be with you, sir. That is tomorrow. I've been seeing a lot of articles on the internet about that, about the best games to play. Oh, it's May 4th where you are? Nice. Nice. Yeah, it's 8 p.m. nearly for me on the 3rd, so just behind you. About another 4 hours. Manic, don't you know Sir Axeman? Pretty sure you do. So, Manic is on the stream, Sir Axeman, but his audio he's unfortunately having some technical difficulties, so I'm just reading out what he's messaging in Discord. So, and we're doing a podcast right now, and the topic is on nihilism, which is Manic's choice. And we've got about 17 minutes remaining, and then I'm going to be doing an hour of Xbox 360. Which I'm going to be using a capture card for, so. But Manic is typing here, but while he's doing that, I think I might have touched on all of my notes. Yeah, it looks like I have. I do have a couple of other things that I could touch on, but I think that is probably for its own topic idea. So, I think that I'll maybe leave that, but... Manic, Mr. Manic and myself kind of breezed through this tonight. We kind of hit it hard and kind of really went through it. You sure do know Axeman, says Mr. Manic. I can talk quite a bit about Master Plan, though. It's 10 songs, half serious and half comedic. It's a shift in styles and draws more from funk and jazz influences instead of the punk rock influence from the early ones. Gotcha. Okay. So funk and jazz, that's a very interesting synergy, Manic. Very, very interesting. Funk and jazz. Very interesting. But essentially, Sir Axeman, a photo of Ryan Gosling. Well, it's from the movie Blade Runner. And our topic tonight is on nihilism. But also, I really just love Blade Runner. You've seen Blade Runner, haven't you? Or maybe if you haven't, you're aware of it. The topic tonight is on nihilism. I beg to differ, Sir Axeman. I appreciate the first film, but I am more a fan of the second film, and there are many reasons why. You haven't seen it before? Oh, man. You gotta do yourself a favor and watch it. So, Manic says, I've been a big fan of jazz fusion for half my life, but never attempted it myself until this one. Nice. So that's very commendable, Manic. Jazz fusion, I don't believe I've ever even heard that term. So that's pretty cool, man. But yes, so what we're going to try to do is integrate some of Manic's music into the podcast in some way or another. We were speaking earlier about adding it as like an intermission, like when there's a break, we'll play some of Manic's music. And or we can, like I was noting, we can center the whole podcast topic around it. Like you have examples you'll send? Okay, Manic. So, because Manic, your songs have a certain theme, right? Every song does. So what I'm thinking is like what we can do is kind of like frame a podcast topic around that theme, whatever it might be. And then we can have your music as well. And the only thing is I just, like I said, I was going to use your old music, but we just need to get it to where I can get the new music so that I can download it and put it into OBS, if that makes sense. So, Harrison Ford, Sir X-Men, yes. Harrison Ford is a very good actor. I would say I most like him as Indiana Jones. Or as, what's his name in Star Wars? I forget the character he plays in Star Wars, but Han Solo, I think it is. Yeah, he's great in Blade Runner, but I really, really like Ryan Gosling. I relate to Ryan Gosling, which I think a lot of people do. But yes, the reason for the background tonight is because of nihilism. So that is our topic tonight. Episode 12. It's on nihilism. That's our topic. So. I'm just drinking some Keystone Light. A Pepsi, yeah. Just some Keystone Light. So Manic also mentions, I'd love to do something when the new one is finished where we go through all 40 songs between the 3 albums, and I go in depth. Oh, okay. And tell the background behind it. That'd be a very good idea, Manic. That'd work really well, too. So I think it's Necro's topic for the next week. But if you want to do that for the week after, that's completely fine by me. We just need to figure out a way for me to get your music, you know, where I can download it. So Manic also says, I've done things like that in the past. If you go on my Twitch, you'll find the albums with and without commentary, and some prototype mixes that have various differences from the final versions. Gotcha. Yeah, if we can just figure out a way for me to get the music so that I can download it, Manic. That way I don't have to stream it. I can just, play it from the storage. But Nicrowassassin's topic is next, I believe. Is that correct? I believe it is. I don't know. Yeah, I believe it is his topic next. YouTube MP3, listen to YouTube, says Sir Axman. Yeah, I'm just going to download the music. So that's what I've done before in the past. So I'll just have Manic send me the files, and then I will just download them. So that way it'll work best. Don't have to worry about loading. All right, Manic, sir, we have about 10 minutes left. So let's kind of recap, I guess. I think 10 minutes is good to kind of recap. And Anyhow, after the finale of the podcast, I will be doing 1 hour of Xbox 360 on the capture card, and I will be playing Downpour tonight. So I'm going to continue where I left off. I was also thinking about doing Final Fantasy Lightning Returns, but because I have that one on disc as well, but I think I'll just do Downpour. So. But anyways, Manic was just mentioning that he needs to transfer them from his laptop to his tablet, so that way he can send them to me, and I can download them and play them off of the storage instead of streaming them. So, yes, Downpour. That's what I'm going to do next here. I'm going to do it for 1 hour. So if you don't know, Sir Axeman, my streams are for 2 hours, once a week on Friday. And for the first hour, we do the podcast with ManicProfessor, myself, and another party member, Nicrowassassin. And then for the last hour, I do either a video game or maybe Unity game development. So, but tonight, Xbox 360, got it all plugged in, got it on the capture card. So I'm just waiting. Manic is sending a message, so I'm going to read that as soon as he sends it. Was it blocked? I don't even see anything. SH meaning you said SHIT? Because I do not even see anything. If it were blocked, I would see it. I have 2 different programs running, so... I don't see it. I didn't think that SHIT would be a blocked word, but maybe it is. Okay, so here's our recap. And I'll read Manic's response first. And so Manic says, okay, so nihilism means fuck it. There's many different reasons for that, including the chaotic nature of nature. Humans suck at maintaining order after a while. The universe is a set of lungs that inhales and exhales. Mushroom zombies might happen. How cool is that? Oh, and I have new music on the way. Is that everything? Did I do it all? Oh, and Mark Zuckerberg is a pizza delivery driver. So there we go. We were talking about the movie 30 Minutes or Less earlier. So I will add to that and say that nihilism in essence is this right here. If nothing matters and everything is temporal, then under hedonism, life is merely offsetting pain for pleasure. So, to tie it very, very quickly to nature, nature ethics does not concern itself with the ethics that we as humans concern ourselves with. So, there is no right, there is no wrong. That's very controversial to say, I understand that. But there's only the way in which energy is used. It's either used positively or it's used negatively. And who is to say that it's used positive or negative? Well, that would be consciousness would have to come into play. A human being. Although, with that said, I'm of the belief that things that we wouldn't ordinarily think have consciousness do have consciousness. Plants, for instance, talk to one another. So it's a very beautiful world that we live in. It's a very convoluted and complex world. Humans are very, very selfish. They're very, very one-minded. Altruism is rare. And really, using energy, you can use it either positively or negatively. But in the end, nothing matters. But it does. if we branch into metaphysical beliefs, but that I think we'll share on another podcast. But that is episode 12 of On Nihilism. And tonight it was Manic's topic choice. And I think it was a very good one, Manic. And we've got about 4 minutes left, so we kind of have to hang out here for just a second longer before I switch over to the Xbox, if that's okay. So, Axeman, that's one way of getting your message sent. Everyone, SHITs on Downpour. Yes, I like Downpour as well, Axeman. I really do. I don't know why it blocked the SHIT word. I don't see it. Because, like I said, I'm using a program that will show blocked messages, but I don't see it. If I saw it, I would unblock it. Because SHIT is, that's fine to say that word. I'm more concerned about racism or sexism, And, if you believe that, that's your right to believe it, but I just don't think it's okay on the stream, But saying SHIT, no problem with that. So I'll have to look in the censored words later. But yes, I think that Downpour is a great game. It's one of my favorite Silent Hill games. So Manic, it's Silent Hill Downpour. I'll type it to you. And I'm going to do it on the... I've got the Xbox 360 plugged in to the capture card. And I'm going to play that. So yeah, we got just a few minutes. Let's try to wind it out at the hour as we do ordinarily. And as soon as we get done, I'm going to go ahead and start up the Xbox here. Used to own that game many years ago, says Manic. Yeah, it's a good one. I think so. I really do. I think a lot of people don't really like the developers, but are you a fan of marshmallows? Asked Sir Axeman. I'd say so. If you look on my YouTube, you'll see some different marshmallow treats I've shared. But I'm not like huge on marshmallows, but yeah, I like marshmallows, sure. What about you, Manic? Do you like marshmallows? That's what Axeman asked here. It's a question out of left field. So Manic does. Perfect summertime bonfire treat. Sitting around a campfire, I agree, Manic. Make some s'mores with some chocolate bars, some graham crackers, crickets in the background, nice fire going. What a wonderful evening. Ah, nice image in my mind there, Manic. That's wonderful. We're almost at that time of year. That is true, sir. We are. What's up, Mike? So Sir Axeman, Manic, says that he's still waiting for Manic to do a Sonic R stream. Alright, Manic, we got about 1 minute left. So I'm going to end it at an hour as normal. And I'm going to switch on over to the Xbox. I'm going to do that for another hour. Just waiting for Manic's to finish his response here. Manic. Okay, so Manic says... So basically, I'm hoping I'll have a voice next week. That was annoying. Well, it happens, man. Technical difficulties. But with that, I will say that it's the podcast on nihilism brought to you by Mr. ManicProfessor. And in all, the stream, the Fringe Lair Podcast, brought to you by Unity Kai, ManicProfessor, and Nicrowassassin. And Manic says, my fingers hurt right now, I bet they do, because he's having to been typing because of the voice issues. And he also says, have a good night. And Manic, I will also say, have a good night, sir. I'm going to jump off the voice call and jump over to the gaming, so have a good night, man. I'll message you later and to show you that antenna thing I was talking about. It's like $50, I think, but it might be a good idea. But anyways, man, have a good night, and I'll chat with you later, dude. Alrighty, man. Okay, well, yeah, I'll message after the stream, so if you're not up, you can just check it later. But alright, man. See you later. Alright, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and jump over to the Xbox 360. Logging out of Discord here real quick. Alright, so I am using a capture card, like I've noted several times now. But anyhow, go ahead and boot this up. So where's the button? There we go. Oh, probably should turn the capture card on. Alrighty. Had to switch the inputs there. So let's get the whole experience. Okay. So it doesn't seem that, let's see. I think I just don't have my audio turned up, but I cannot hear the feed. Oh, probably why. Okay, let me make sure it is monitoring here. Okay, so this is coming through desktop audio. That's on the speakers. That's probably why. Yeah, I had some issues here with resetting with the audio being reset. Okay, Silent Hill Downpour. There we go, I can hear it. Okay, cool. So yes, this is running on a capture card. I also have a Sega Dreamcast, and a Xbox One, and a PlayStation 4. And I can do capture card AV, which is Dreamcast or old consoles, and also HDMI. And I'm running the Xbox 360 on an HDMI as opposed to AV. So the time is incorrect. It's 8:23 p.m. for me, so the Xbox clock is incorrect. And let's do a new game. While that's loading, I'm going to grab myself a beverage.
All right, Murphy, it's all set. Make it quick, huh? Follow me. Come on, Murphy, stop screwing around. I don't have all day.
Alright, I'm going to move OBS over to my other screen here. There we go. Alrighty. Let's get cracking.
He's all yours now. Make it quick, Cupcake. Hey, almost forgot. I left you a little present on the bench. Have fun.
Yes, I know, Mike. No more buggy emulator.
You guys are running the showers. The steam fogs up the cameras so bad we can't see anything that goes down in there.
And the good thing about it, man, is I can also do the Xbox One, PlayStation 4 on here as well. But with that said, because I did the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One on Remote Play, it worked perfectly fine. It was essentially like a capture card because my router is really, really good. It has a very good chipset, and it has a Broadcom chipset. And I have really good speeds, so it was like perfect. You know what I mean? Didn't even need a capture card for the Xbox One and PlayStation 4, but now I have one, so I can also do those on the capture card. But I do need a capture card for the Xbox 360 and Dreamcast. So, but this capture card is really great, man. It does 4K at 60 frames, if the hardware supports it. But very good capture card, man. Very, like a 1 millisecond delay, if that. So it's amazing. Really, really good. I mean, how does it look? I think it looks pretty darn good. No delay or anything. Yeah, I think so as well. All right.
Jesus, you scared the hell out of me. What the hell's going on? Where's Sewell? There's been a mistake. I'm a sequestered prisoner. You're not supposed to be here. Guards? Officer Sewell, hello?
You don't recognize me, do you?
What? No, Guards! Guards! Anybody?
We used to be neighbors.
Guards! Guards, open the goddamn door! Help somebody! This is a violation of my rights. Who the hell do you think you are? When I talk to the warden, I'm...
No one's listening.
Help! Jesus, help me! Oh! 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 Ah!
But pick up another weapon. You'll see, Mike. You'll see. They did something very naughty. They hurt a family member. And as you well know, hurt a family member, and it's on. So... You'll see that. He'll explain. In just a second.
Why?
You know exactly why.
Did I
So,
wake you,
yeah.
Pendleton?
I quite like this Silent Hill. I know a lot of people don't. Climax Games, I believe, is the developer. So, Team Silent disbanded after Silent Hill 4. In fact, Team Silent was already in the process of disbanding during Silent Hill 3, and only half of the team worked on Silent Hill 4. And from then on, it has not been Team Silent. Team Silent is no more. It's gone through Climax Games. There's another developer, Valtura or Valtra or something like that.
Come on, rise and shine, Cupcake. You know the drill.
But Team Silent ended with Silent Hill 4.
Guess today's a big day, huh? Tell you the truth, I'm sort of sorry to see you go. Prisoner secure. Open 302B. Transfer.
I don't know. Did they? I have no idea, Mike. Did they? No idea. Okay. Yeah, no idea, man. I'm aware of that game in terms of, like, the name, but I haven't played it, so... I'm aware of it, though. It's, apparently a lot of people like it. Oh, it's a good game, man. A lot of people did blow it off. It's a good game. The only problem is you need an Xbox 360 to play it. Unless you do it emulation. But emulation is not perfect, so... Oh, that's right. It was on PlayStation 3 as well. Yeah, that's right. So you need a PlayStation 3 and an Xbox 360. If you do emulation, you could probably get away with it because you have an RTX card. RTX 3080, I believe is what you said. 3080, right? You have PlayStation 3. Okay, there you go. Yeah, I thought you had a 3080 and a 5800X 3D processor. That's AMD. I don't know what that's equivalent to.
Guess this is it. No fond farewell?
I have the i5.
Not even a little.
Give it a couple of days at Wayside Max. I bet you'll start to miss this place after all. Because we sure are gonna.
I do not have it overclocked though. If I'm to overclock it, I need to install. I got an AIO cooler. I just have not installed it yet. Freeware was giving me some tips on it, on how to install it, but I just haven't done it yet. But if I were to overclock, I need to install that AIO cooler. Because this runs a little bit toasty, even with this cooler that I have. And it's not a bad cooler, it's pretty nice, but it's not overclocked. So it's just, it runs at, I think 3.6 gigs. But you can overclock to 5 to 5.1.
Let's get this done.
Yeah. All right. You heard the lady. Mount up.
What we got here?
It might be 3.9 gigs, I don't know.
Pendleton.
But it's a very good CPU. I think it actually is 3.9 gigs. So basically 4 gigs. But you can overclock to 5 to 5.1 gigs. So it's a very good CPU, man. It's more powerful than a 10th generation i9, and it's on par with an 11th generation i9.
We got a long ride.
So it's definitely not a 14th generation Intel, but for what it is, it's really nice. It really is. And it's not expensive. It's pretty cheap. It's affordable. Yeah, I'll have to look it up after the stream, because off the top of my head, I'm not sure what it would be either, but I'm sure it's more powerful than what I have, Mike. But the i5-11600 is a very, very good CPU. It really is. For the price that you pay, you get a lot of power. So it's a really good CPU. But I'm an Intel guy. I love Intel. Always have since I was young. So but I know AMD generally offers faster CPUs for cheaper. And that's awesome. But I'm willing to pay a little bit extra to get the Intel. Just because I like Intel.
Tell me something, puta. That true what I heard about
Just
you?
asking too much, right?
Did you really do it?
Shut
And
the hell up!
they do. They're expensive.
Fuck you, güero.
I said lock it up, damn it!
So I might save about 10 minutes to try out another game. Which means I'll do this for maybe another 15. Try out another game for about 10 minutes. I have a racing game I want to... Need for Speed Shift. Play that for about 10 minutes, and then I'll leave about 2 minutes to wind out with. I'm going to keep it at 2 hours tonight, so that's what I'm saying. But... Unfortunately, Manic's voice wasn't coming through properly because of some... connectivity issues, so... but the podcasts, we do them every Friday, generally around 7 o'clock. And each week, one of the party members chooses a topic. So,
Find the highway.
we
Put some ground between yourself and the boss.
do it that way, so...
Hello? Can anyone hear me?
But yeah, man, if you can find this game, you might be able to get it for $20 or less. But I'm a huge Silent Hill fan. Silent Hill is my favorite horror series because I like the psychological horror element to it. But you might be able to find it for $20 or less. You said PlayStation 3, so...
That's far enough. Get your ass down on the ground now. Hands where I can see them. Do it.
Take it easy. I'm not going anywhere.
I said, on the ground now.
Yeah. 3D versus Cache Tech you should read about. That's in the X3D CPUs by AMD. Okay, so before reading that, I read that people are asking a lot of asking for a lot on eBay. So are you meaning for this game? Because I wouldn't be surprised, because a lot of old games nowadays are very expensive. There's some games that are crazy in price. 40 to 70. For Silent Hill Downpour? Yeah, that's not too bad. I was thinking maybe like $300 plus. 40 to 70 is not too bad. Not too shabby. But the 3D versus Cache Tech, I no idea what that is. But yeah, these old games, man, they go up in price, you know? But this is on disc, of course, you know, so... I also have Final Fantasy on disc and Grand Theft Auto 5. I have the Xbox 360 version of Grand Theft Auto 5.
Cuffs in the process? Save the bullshit.
Maybe I was gonna do Need for Speed Shift, but maybe I'll pop in Grand Theft Auto 5 on the Xbox 360. Maybe I'll do that for like
This is
10
stupid.
minutes.
I'll meet you back down at the bus, okay?
But I'll play this for about
You're gonna
another
get yourself killed.
Shut up.
15
Keep your
minutes.
goddamn hands where I can see them. Shit! Pull me
So the neat thing about this game is you have choices. So you can either help her or leave her. So I am going to help her.
Hang on.
I'm slipping. Oh god!
Don't let go. Don't. Shit!
Well, it's the thought that counts, right? He tried to help. But believe it or not, I was thinking about getting a Sega Saturn. Yeah, laugh out loud. Yeah, I know. In terms of he tried to help, it's the thought that counts. But I was thinking about getting a Sega Saturn. Never had a Sega Saturn before. My first Sega console was the Dreamcast. Yeah, never had a Sega Saturn. You have the Genesis? Nice.
Break this lock with the right
I
tool.
played the Genesis, but I never had it. Yes, I'm not very familiar with it either. I'm aware of it, of course, but I never had a Sega Saturn. Like I said, my very, very first Sega console was the Sega Dreamcast. So the big games on it, I'm not sure, man. Don't know.
These game tokens look ancient. Free trim too.
I would assume Sonic would be a big game. You know, I don't know. Alright, so I know where I have to go, and that's where I'm gonna go. And then I'm gonna pop in Grand Theft Auto 5 on the Xbox 360. The Xbox 360 version. I'll play that for a few minutes. And then I'll leave enough time to wind down. I have 30 minutes left. About 31 minutes, so. I'm gonna catch this cutscene, and then I'll pop in Grand Theft Auto 5 for a second. So the Sega Saturn games, I don't know, probably very expensive, I would imagine. That's a very old console, so. I'm gonna look for Grand Theft Auto 5 while this cutscene's going.
Wow. Look at that. An old 52. Oh, flathead V8. No doubt about it.
Wicked old beast, ain't she?
What?
I said she's a wicked old beast. Me, I'm partial to something with a little less rust. But to each his own.
Look, I don't want any trouble. Just point the way out of town, and I'll keep right on going.
Now, who said anything about trouble? Just trying to be helpful, son. Name's Howard, by the way.
Murphy.
Heading to prison, are you, Murphy?
Just looking for a way out of town is all.
Right, I found it.
That's so. Afraid all the roads are out, every last one of them. Strangest thing.
What the
Something wrong, son?
Did you see it? Up there in the window.
Hmm?
Never mind.
I suppose if you're really desperate, you could try the old Skytram. Course, it hasn't really been kept up since the accident.
I'll take my chances.
That's the spirit. Well, this mail ain't gonna deliver itself. Good luck, Murphy. Hope you find whatever it is you're looking for.
Hey, what's the name of this place?
Alright, that is Silent Hill. I'll play it next time. I'm gonna go ahead and put in Grand Theft Auto 5. Xbox 360 version. Gotta scoot this back just a bit. Or maybe I'll just turn it. I'm gonna go ahead and put in Grand Theft Auto 5. So this is the touchless, there we go. Doesn't actually have a button on it. It's just like a little, touch. Okay, so Grand Theft Auto 5. I haven't played this in years. So this is the Xbox 360 Slim. So it has like a little, oh, disc 2. Okay, well I have disc 2. So let me put in, oh, the first disc is the install disc. Disc 2 is the play disc. Okay. Okay, so I put in disc 2. There we go. Yeah, so the first disc is the install disc. Second disc is the play disc. So, by the way, I will also mention this. The Xbox 360 Marketplace, Microsoft is going to end that this year, in July. The Microsoft Marketplace will be no more. So if you have an Xbox 360 and there's some games you want to get, you better download them now. Because after July, you won't be able to. Also, that might affect online play, I don't know. But I read, so long as the game developers keep up their servers, you'll still be able to play. But once the game developers stop their servers, you won't be able to play anymore. So not signed in. So sign in, Kai. Okay, whatever. I won't sign in. I don't really give a crap. I'm only gonna play for a few minutes anyway. I don't play video games, guys. Other than when I'm doing a stream. But, like, during the week, I don't play video games. I just, like... I'm hugely into academia. So, like, I'm reading academic articles. I'm, like, scheduling things in my personal life. And I watch movies and YouTube. Like, documentaries and stuff. But I don't play video games. I only play video games when I do a stream. And that's only once a week. For 2 hours. And only 1 hour of actually playing a game. So I play video games for 1 hour once a week. But anyways, this is the Xbox 360 version of Grand Theft Auto 5.
Go! Open the door! They'll get worse than hurt! Hey! Come on! Finally! Don't do anything! Let's go! Shut up! Shut the fuck up! Come on! In the back! Come on! Hands behind your back! Come on, mister. We're giving you everything you want. Don't even think about it.
I'll do it. Oh, God.
Get in there! Sit tight! I'll handle the plastic!
Don't blow yourself up! Listen up!
M! Get these assholes in the closet! In the back! Come on!
He's gonna kill us in here! Leave us alone!
You!
We didn't do shit to you!
So I will add, I never actually finished this game. I got maybe 3/4 of the way through the game. Back in like 2015. But I never completed this game. Never completed it.
All set! Phone it in!
I'm making the call.
Sure, I have a save for it. So how do I do this? Oh, there we go. So Xbox 360, it looks pretty good, huh? Dang.
We gonna do this?
Pretty good graphics for such an old console. You know why? Because they were using NVIDIA graphics, proprietary. But these graphics still hold up nowadays, man. This is such an old console. These graphics still hold up.
Remember, just the non-sequential...
There's enough here for us all to enjoy. Depends on how you look at it.
We gotta move! Coming out, B! Give it up! I got him!
I saw your face, I'll remember you. You get 1,000 things every day. How about you make sure this is one of them? I've seen his eyes! He's crazy! No one's crazy! Right, think. Be cool.
That's right, pal!
Alright, what do I do here?
Fucking crazy!
Oh, boy. Alright, look, you wanna live? Tell me you wanna live. Work this out.
I don't know how to switch.
Don't put your gun down.
Ain't gonna happen, pal.
Hold it, maybe?
Move! I got all day. It looks like the cavalry ain't gonna show, pal.
I don't know how to switch. How do I switch? Analog stick? What do I do here? There we go. After all that, I should have aimed. Oops. Yeah, should have aimed. Let's go and drift.
Get down there! Alright, everybody pays attention. No one gets hurt. Go! Open the door! They'll get worse than hurt! Hey! Hey! Ah! Come on! Come on! Finally! Don't do anything! Let's go! Shut up! Shut the fuck up! Hands behind your back. Oh, come on, mister. We're giving you...
They're looking, oh nice.
Don't even think about it.
Yeah, so I'm doing Grand Theft Auto 5. I did Silent Hill Downpour before this.
Sit tight. I'll handle the plastic. Don't blow yourself up. Pay attention.
Got it on the Xbox 360 console on the capture card there. No more emulation. Straight up consoles, man. I have an Xbox 360, a Sega Dreamcast, Xbox One, and a PlayStation 4. Alright, so how do I pull up my phone? There we go.
We gotta do this?
But yeah, I was mentioning these Xbox 360 graphics are really good, man. They stand up to today's standards. Like, really good graphics. Holy crap. Yeah, they're pretty good, aren't they? Especially those reflections.
We're just taking the non-sequential notes. There's enough here for us all to enjoy.
Depends on how you look at it.
That's why I was saying, NVIDIA, just as they did with the original Xbox, also with the Xbox 360, it's proprietary graphics. But like, look at the reflections.
I saw your face, I'll remember you.
Really good. This is running on an Xbox 360 Slim. So I don't know if it has let's see here. I don't know if the hardware is better on an Xbox 360 Slim.
Pal, I'm fucking crazy. Oh boy.
Okay, so that's what I'm doing.
Tell me you want to live. Work this out.
For sure I want to live. Jump. And put the gun down. Ain't gonna.
Why can't I do this?
Make a move.
There we go.
Not all day. I'll try to make this painless. Fuck!
Got it.
You didn't have to do that. Let's get going. There'll be time for grieving later.
Yeah, you got that right.
Let's go.
What are you doing? Find some cover. I'm setting the charges. They're on a timer, so brace yourself. Oh, fuck, you hear that? Sirens. Fuck the cops. T, hit the shutter switch.
What's this? Local resistance?
It ain't supposed to go down like this.
It never is. Come on, go!
What the fuck is this?
Back the fuck down!
Drop it, prick!
Don't be as dumb as you look!
Press forward! Don't be an idiot!
Wrong profession!
I ain't laying down for this!
Ah, shit. I was getting into it there. Ah, really good graphics. Like, holy crap. I'm impressed.
They answered the wrong call!
Move! Get down!
Get out of the way!
We keep going forward! Come on, guys!
Get out of the way or suffer the consequence!
Fuck these guys! Move! We're coming through!
You shouldn't have been a cop!
Get in their faces! Who's snitch?
Yeah, the Grand Theft Auto 6, well, it's obviously going to look very amazing. By the way, Hellblade, I think that's going to look amazing as well. Hellblade 2, by the way, releases this month. I was looking at the PC requirements, and, oh man, it recommends like I think like a 3090 or something like that. But the minimum is like a GTX 1070. So I have above the minimum specs, but I don't have the recommended, because recommended is like a 13th gen Intel and like an RTX 3090 or 4080 or something like that. It's like crazy specs, man. It's insane. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But I was looking at it earlier. No, that's just recommended. Not even highest recommended, just recommended. Recommended. Yeah, just recommended. Something like that. I'll have to share it later.
Back the fuck down!
But I was looking at it because I'm really excited to play it, man. I just barely got Hellblade. Well, I've played Hellblade in the past on the PlayStation 4. And I played it on Game Pass before, but I just got the PC version. And I have trouble running that, dude. And my specs aren't even that bad. But I think it has something to do with DirectX 12. If you look on Reddit, there's a lot of problems with running Hellblade on DirectX 12. A lot of people recommend using DirectX 11. Okay, I'm not going to do that again. But anyways, that's Grand Theft Auto 5. I just wanted to check it out real quick. The graphics are freaking amazing. So I have some other games on here, which I'm not really going to play because I don't have enough time to do it. They're just demos, but I do have Silent Hill HD, which is Silent Hill 2 and Silent Hill 3, the HD version. And then I have some demos. So, don't have very much on this Xbox. Ever had recommended specs that high? Yeah, well, I mean, you gotta consider what has gone into this game, man. It's like true to life. Photorealistic. It's that good, man. I've been following along with it with the screenshots and all that. And it's crazy. So, you know, my PC, I would say, is budget. You know, but it's okay. Some areas it's pretty powerful, but other areas not so much. But with that said, the GTX 1660 Super, which is what I have, is more powerful than an RTX 2060 by just a little bit in some areas. But the RTX has ray tracing cores. But also with that said, the GTX 1660 Super, which is what I have, also has ray tracing, but the cores are deactivated. That's what I read. It has ray tracing cores, but they're deactivated. But I really want to get an RTX card, and I was looking at an RTX 2060 6 gig. I was looking at the overclocked version though. The RTX 2060 overclocked. RTX. Don't get that one. 3090 is yes, pretty expensive. But that's what it says, Mike. So I'll share the specs later, but it's pretty crazy. For 2 reasons. Okay, what are the reasons? All right, I've got about 8.5 minutes here, so maybe I'll do one quick lap and then wind down. It's a meme. Yes, I know you've said that before, that it's kind of a gimmick, but also, there are some games that really take advantage of that. One in particular is the Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, the Definitive Edition. If you've seen the ray tracing on that, it's absolutely, it looks like a whole new game. You're going to turn on ray tracing, it's going to drop your performance so hard that 2060 isn't really even going to cut it. Why do you say that? You think the CPU isn't powerful enough? Again, keep in mind, this CPU is more powerful than a 10th generation i9, and on par with an 11th generation i9. So it's a good CPU. And I don't even have it overclocked. So imagine me overclocking it and getting up to 5 gigs. But I have to install that AIO cooler and take out this thermal tank. It's rough. Even with a 14th generation Intel, you think. Say you have a 14th generation Intel and an RTX 3080 with an NVMe SSD. 32 gigs of overclocked RAM.
Right, I've arranged 2 events for you today. The first is in London.
Okay, maybe I have time to run through one lap.
The Elise. Well, they've closed the streets of Westminster, London for us today. This should be a great race. Let's go over the track.
But this is a Need for Speed shift.
You're gonna start on York Road for a quick shoot before hitting a 3-turn sector.
Alright, I'm just gonna skip into it. See if I can get through one lap real quick. That should take maybe 4 minutes. But I think you're speaking about the Founders Edition, Mike. The Founders Edition is that much. Founders Edition is made by NVIDIA themselves.
Almost ready to go here. This is it. Good luck.
You can get 3080s cheaper than a few grand.
Green. Good luck.
Like $600 or $700. I think you're talking about the Founders Edition, and that's NVIDIA themselves. I say 3090? I maybe did. I love those gauges that you can see. See the gauge needles and everything, that's pretty cool. Again, man, this is such an old game. I love how it blurs as well as you get going really fast and it blurs everything. Even the cockpit. Anyway, that's a little snippet of Need for Speed. And, got about 3 minutes left, so gonna wind her down, but that is the Xbox 360. Xbox 360 Slim. So I'm gonna shut her down. '50 series, yes. '50 series is coming out soon. That is true. But you say hold off, huh? Maybe I will. Maybe I will. Looks like I have the desktop muted there for a second. I apologize. But maybe I will. Trust you? Okay. Well, anyways, I will say thank you very much for coming in, and next week will be the podcast followed by some gaming. I'm not sure what the topic will be on yet, and that will be discussed. But anyways, I hope you have a good night, and thank you very much, and I'll see you later. See ya.